So if he goes to practice, right? By him going to practice.
Yeah, you're right. Oh.
High schooler asked him to come. I'm 99%. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah, no, for, actually,
There's a little chair.
No, you know, you're right.
He was only.
Tuesday.
so like if you go to like,
You got it. You had a middle school, whatever, you guys were out.
Yeah. That's how it was read. Somebody has to try and get
Well, you can't, you just won't be able to do anything else. Right?
yeah.
So when those are like.
Maybe now it's more people.
Yeah. He played.
Yeah, and, oh, yeah, or you like, go practice some. Not like.
His age, whatever it was on last night.
Oh.
When I did that, that's when I lost the sound. The last time we were farming, I did it for 6 years.
Oh, I probably.
Oh, absolutely. You're not sitting there and some confidence. But that's what I was saying. Just speaks loud.
Oh, I know.
So he knows what's happening.
Yep, and opportunity.
Amplify, yeah, amplify your voice. So it's also.
Yeah.
Let's start the meeting at 6 o'clock with the pledge of allegiance.
It's middle school.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Need a motion to approve the agenda? So moved.
Second.
Larry, Sarah. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And we will go on to 2.1, school board retreat strategic planning. Is Tom on there? Looks like. Oh.
Welcome, Tom, Bob. Can you guys hear us?
Tim, you got the air message in the upper left, you have to hit allow.
Can you guys hear me? Yes?
Can't hear that.
We can't hear you right now.
Put your mic and pull down your
Where?
mic, because maybe you have the wrong up to your mic. Isn't there a drop down? Go to speakers, see if that works.
Can you hear us, Tom?
Oh, there.
You click down on that drop down, it just,
Well,
yeah, on that mic drop down.
Yeah.
And then unmute it here.
that's what I had before.
More audio settings down below there.
We have it on Epson, the speaker's gonna come out of the
Here.
projector.
Can you guys say something? No, there's nothing coming out of here.
Doesn't look like his volume's up on the laptop.
Two speakers.
Your volume on the projector.
This is old enough, isn't
Nope, Darren's not here.
No, I mean you.
Oh, that's ours.
YouTube.
That's the owl. The owl works. Can you plug the speakers into the laptop? They're down below.
Oh, are they plugged in and maybe just turn off?
No, they're not plugged in. The laptop should have.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're gonna have to talk loud though, Tom. I
Can you turn the volume on the computer up there, Tim?
think I'm Matt's.
Do you think it would help if I called your cell phone and spoke on speaker?
Is there a volume on those speakers?
We might have to try that, Tom.
Settings.
Go to the, your volume's up on.
Oh, change it to,
Try it now, Tom. Talk to me.
Test, one,
There you
two, three.
better.
Okay, we should be able to hear you.
Okay,
Okay, we will go ahead and turn this over to Tom and looks like Bob. Welcome, Bob. They're going to go through the process of strategic planning with us for about 15 minutes and then we'll pick it up from there. Thank you.
sounds good. Thank you very much, Tim. Good to be here this evening. Thank you for having us. I'll try to speak really loud. The first thing in the process, honestly, is preparing the surveys. And I've sent Tim the link to 4 different surveys, one for your students, one for your parents, one for the community, and one for the staff. And I've asked Tim to either himself or with a committee of people to look at those questions to make sure that you're okay with all of them. And then in particular, to see if there's any questions that you want to add that are pertinent to the Custer School District. Especially if you're looking at anything with facilities or anything, changing structure, whatever. If you want any questions like that added, we're happy to do that. Once the questions have been approved, then we'll make the survey links live, and I'll work with Tim on how to best disseminate those surveys. With the students, the easiest way is to have the English class take care of the surveys, make sure that they're in the lab or everybody's got access to a device, and they'll take those surveys online that way. And then the staff, it works best if the principals will do those, again, in the lab, when they have all the teachers present and the classified staff as well. For the parents, we suggest sending the link out through Infinite Campus because they've got email access to all the parents, and then sending 2 or 3 reminders to the parents, reminding them what the deadline is for returning the surveys. The most difficult is getting the surveys out to the community members, and we suggest putting the link into the newspaper. And I would remind everyone that there's 4 different links. Because there's 4 different survey questions, to make sure that when you put the link in the newspaper, it's just the community link and it's spelled out. It's just for community members. It's not for parents. And then, if you can post that link in the bank, in the grocery stores, whatever it is, to get that out to the community members. Once the surveys are all out and the deadline is come and gone, then we compile all the data from the surveys. Once we have that data compiled, then we will develop what we call themes in 3 or 4 areas. We limit the number of goals that the district would have in this go-around of this planning to 4 goals. Sometimes there's only 3, but typically there are 4. And they could be in a myriad of different areas. Whatever the survey results show, that's what dictates the goals. Then once those goals are defined, then I will send Tim a document that shows the goal areas, and it'll also show a couple of suggested action steps. The action steps are actions that the district is going to take in order to achieve the goal. And the goals are designed as SMART goals. So they're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, and they're time bound. So every single goal will have those 4 or 5 areas to make sure that we implement these goals with fidelity. Once the goal areas are defined, then I will work with Tim and we'll set up 2 different sets of focus groups. The first focus group is an internal focus group, and it's made up of teachers and classified employees. And we would invite 1 or 2 board members to sit in on that if they so choose. And at that time, we'll go through those 4 goal areas. We'll go through the compilation report so the staff can see what the survey results showed. And then we will show them the 4 goal areas, and we'll ask them to help us define action steps. So for instance, if there's an action step that is communication, we'll ask them to help us define how will we better communicate both internally and externally, and they'll come up with action steps for that. And then we'll move on to the next goal and so on and so forth. We would like a minimum of 12 people to serve on that internal focus group and a maximum of 20. We prefer, especially for a district of Custer's size, that you're closer to that 20 number than the 12 number. And then we'd like to do the same exact thing then with an external focus group made up of 20 parent and or community members. And the easiest way to get those people to commit to do that is to have each board member identify 2 or 3 people that would serve on that. And obviously the board would have to collaborate with each other so you don't all name the same person. And then the administration can help if you're not at 20 yet, the administration can help come up with some additional names for that. So when the action steps are defined then through the focus groups, and each one of those meetings will last 2 hours. We'll pick a day that works for the school district, and we'll spend 2 hours with the internal group and then 2 hours with the external group. And then we'll take all of that information that we've gathered from the focus group meetings, from the surveys, and we'll come back and we'll put together the entire action plan. Once that's all typed up and written out, I'll send it to Tim for one more look to make sure that I haven't misidentified anything, make sure I have the right people accountable to achieve the action step. And then once he's had a chance to look at it, he'll send it back to me. Then we will print usually a dozen copies of the final document. And then I'll set up a time to meet with the board in person, and I'll walk through the final report with the board. Now, obviously, the board has the ability, the authority, they're the only ones that have the authority to tweak the final document. If there's something in there that the board is not happy with or doesn't want to do, or on the flip side, if there's something we omitted that the board wants in there, the board has every right to adjust and amend and edit. And then we always suggest that after that presentation, put that final report out there to your community and let them comment on it if they have any comments for 30 days. And then typically it's adopted at the following meeting, so 30 days later. After that, then we do have some dates on the final plan for when the administration would report to the board, give them progress updates. Now, what we like about this is you may have a goal that comes up later, and we always suggest if you've checked a box and you've completed a goal, go ahead and identify a new goal, bring together a group of people and help them help them define action steps, and then you can plug and play the next goal. So you don't need to bring us back to do that. You'll have enough information and a template to work off of. I know I went through that really fast. Any questions from the board?
Doesn't look like it, Tom.
I'm sorry, Tim, we can't hear you.
They said it doesn't look like it.
Tom, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay. I don't think that there's any questions at this time from the board. Okay, so just a quick review of, Tom, what you need from us right now is basically just to review through those surveys, delete questions that we want deleted, add questions that we'd like added, and then get them sent back to you to organize and review, and then just focus on getting the links to the right people and gathering the information.
That is correct. If you just send us any information, we'll take care of the edits, adding and deleting based on what you tell us, and then we'll send you the links, and I'll give you a reminder in an email of how to get them out to the appropriate groups.
Okay, Tom, timeline wise, are you good with us working towards having these surveys reviewed and information sent back to you prior to Christmas break?
That would be wonderful, and then we can disseminate the surveys in early January.
Okay, does that work for us here, Ariana?
I think so.
Yep. I think so. I think we're good then.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. We're looking forward to it.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Thanks, Bob.
Good night.
Thanks, Tim.
Can you talk? I want to see if it'll look at you, please.
Hello,
This is a test.
this is a test. It's not changing.
Nope.
This is a test. Test.
I don't know why it's not following.
Is there more on that to discuss?
When we get to down to the presentations, and there'll be more, I think, just tossed around a little bit from there.
It's recording sound, so I don't think
You know, one of the things I should mention, just so all board members know this, especially our new board members, is that in 24, 25, I believe it's 24, 25, at the end of the year, I think that there was a contract signed with Tom Oster and Dakota Education Consulting to do strategic planning. And that's why we're starting this process now, and our hope is that by moving it quickly, Christmas, we should be able to work on it second semester and really have a solid plan put in play for the start of the 25, 26, 27 school year, and understand that with Tom's information that he shared, it's actually going to be a lot more in depth than what he shows. He does a very good job of simplifying, but it is a deep dive into a lot of data that we'll have to pull forward, and we'll talk about that a little bit later tonight. But at this time now, I'd like to introduce Christy Lenz to come up and talk to you guys a little bit about the importance of 0 to 5 early learning for children and some possibilities for our school district moving forward. Okay, sounds good.
Hi, my name is Christy Lenz. I'm the Chief Operations Officer for the YMCA Black Hills. For those of you that don't know our organization, we operate YMCA locations in Rapid City, Box Elder, Custer, and Edgemont. Of those, we operate after school and out of school time programs, which we partner with school districts throughout those communities as well. We also have a camp out 385, a 44-acre camp that we do day camps during the summer. Custer participants are involved in that camp as well. So the reason why I came forward today is to do a little board education on what our relationship has been in the past. I don't know how many of you know the history between the YMCA providing vital wraparound services for agencies like the school district. I did a deep dive. We were talking about finding data on the earliest agreement between the YMCA and the Custer School District. And the one that I found that was relating specifically to your preschool program was dated 2005. That doesn't necessarily say that we weren't in partnership prior to that, but that was the earliest written agreement that I could find. So we have a 20-year history of being good stewards between early childhood education. Primarily for the YMCA, we do 0 to 5 and out of school time. So we operate your Kid Stop programs within your elementary school, as well as doing 0 to 5 preschool included at the Early Learning Development Center. With that, we also do have some of your preschool participants in the Custer preschool that continue to do out of school time care with us at their early childhood education. So those parents actually do pick them up from your preschool and bring them to our early childhood education for continual care. So he is, unfortunately, our CEO is very passionate on early learning. She has a history of education as an instructor and as a principal in the Catholic school system. It's kind of her passion child of hers. And so in Dr. Frederick's hands is some bullet point kind of talking points for you guys for consideration. Did you hand some of those out?
Yep.
So just some highlights on those is, the main focus that we want to communicate with you guys is our partnerships are not just between you and I in dollars and cents. I mean, we do have a mission-driven statement that we are here for the community and we're here for the families of Custer. So though we create vital roles within those educational curriculums, we want to be that wraparound agency for them. Our partnership strengthens educational outcomes. It's really focused on curriculum that is forthcoming, upfront, innovative. We don't just have kids sitting around doing nothing. We actually invited Dr. Frederick in, and he could kind of attest that we do have curriculum foundation within all of our programs. And then also that it's supports family stability. So when we did have some individuals come to us having those concerns that they don't have out of school time care at the preschool facility, we try to create that gap or close that gap between care. So we are about having stable care for kids and making sure that those programs help those parents in need. It's all of our programs are youth development. Our teachers have state accreditation. We are in the current process of becoming Presidium accredited. So that is a national accreditation for child abuse and neglect, and it's a national standard. I don't know how many of you here know about Presidium. Has anybody been through the process with schools before? Okay, so it's a deep dive into what your policies and procedures are, where your cameras are, where your different access points. We've talked with Mr. Frederick or Dr. Frederick about you guys have your security issues and your key fob type situations. We have to have that as well. We have to know who's in our buildings at all times. We have to know at the campus specifically, if the swim team comes out because they're renting 4 lanes, those swim kids have to sign in, sign out, parents have to sign in, sign out. It's almost like a lockdown school situation, but it is making sure that we have the best safe and protocols in place to take care of kids. So those are just a couple highlights that I wanted to bring up. We got into communication with Eve because you guys were kind of evaluating some different programming opportunities for your school, your preschool program specifically. We wanted to be that partner for you. We want to be that wraparound services provider and try to marry your preschool program with our preschool program. Some statistics for your information: 0 to 5 is not a moneymaker in its whole. Preschool aged curriculum and parent fee-based programs are a bulk of funding 0 to 3 when it comes to childcare. So we lose money in the infant, toddler care, but our preschool programs and our older care programs, more structured programs, supplement those. So it is vital for us to have a complete 0 to 5 curriculum program. It also does complete the process of having those early learners integrating into structural situations so that they can easily transition into school type settings. Does anybody have any questions? From another programming provider, we have partnerships with the city and the county. In Custer specifically, we operate the municipal pool, we operate the lock building, we program specifically making sure that we provide family and youth curriculums within the summer, so that those that live in Custer County receive those benefits for youth development, for social awareness, and making sure that we're trying to keep our community healthy and striving and thriving. I don't want to take a whole lot of your time, so I kind of summarized a lot of what Keith had talked about, some of the conversations that we have had, just highlighted the fact that we do have some very unique service providers within our agency that we would love to be able to marry with the school district.
Any questions?
Nope, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. One of the things I wanted to share with everybody, this is not just a presentation that unfolded tonight. Actually, I think I've been here, 5, 6 months, whatever it's been. And it's been one of our, top priorities to look at what we are doing in the Custer community, the county for 0 to 5 early learners. I think everybody needs to know this, there are a lot of very passionate individuals in this community that are addressing everything from the 0 to 1, the 1s to 2, 2s to 3, and so forth. And I think that one of the things that Christy just said, I truly believe that we have to find ways to interconnect all of our services that we have to build a very effective and highly efficient program where we know that it's more than daycare for our little kids, that we're taking care of things on the front end instead of being reactive on the back end and building prisons and all that. For millions and millions. I think that this is an opportunity that we have, and we will continue to have conversations, collaborate on ways to make this a good thing for all of our little ones in our district and prepare them for the future. So with that, thank you, Christy, and we will continue to have discussion on this. This will be on the agenda item for the December board meeting, regular board meeting, and hopefully you guys will generate some questions when you leave here, and then we can come back at that board meeting and have those questions answered for you and continue to move forward. All right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Where's my next speaker? Is he hiding? Jared.
We came in on that.
Welcome, Jared. You
Am
are,
I interrupting?
no, you are, it is your time to shine.
Am I on
now.
the agenda now?
Yes.
All right.
You're on the clock.
All right, 2 minutes. Okay, so with the new construction of the high school for CTE and looking at trying to keep affordable housing for teachers, law enforcement, hospital, like nurses and stuff like that. We're trying to get something where we can keep younger people here, trying to establish them so they're not going elsewhere. And I've been visiting with the city, trying to get people on the same page as us, and everybody seems to be on the same page. So this would be, we'd be trying to look at building a 44 by 24 kind of house that we can put out there. I visited with the city. We're gonna have a meeting. They just called me about 5:30, but we'll have to set up an appointment with them. They would like to sit down with superintendent, a couple board members. They do have some plans in mind where we could kind of work with them with some city lots, stuff like that. They want to work with, she just texted me, Black Hills Community Foundation or something. Make sure I got that right before I misspeak. But what it would do is we would build the house in shop. We'd have to have inspectors and all that stuff, and they're working on that and trying to come up with like an HOA or something where we have regulations on it where become teachers, law enforcement, nurses like that are the only people that can use that. They can only sell it for a certain percentage after they've been in it. They're working on the zoning and stuff, so we have come up with some prices. We're still looking at some figures of where we want to be. They're at a price range where they want to be at selling it, no more, no less, kind of where city and the school can kind of make a profit. I think we can. I've plugged in some numbers, but when we sit down and get all that kind of figured out, so kind of open it up for some questions on where we kind of need to go and if we can go that route.
How long do you expect to take to build one of the houses?
So this year, if we were in at the beginning, I was hoping 1 year because I have 2 periods of residential, but it's going to be a 1.5 years if we start now with getting everything from the city approved, getting that, the foundation with money. We'll visit about that when we get the thing together, but they would take control of situations with the money where they're donating things and where we have to pay back, so. But I would like 1 year, pull one out a year, if we have 2 hours of residential,
When you say a year, is that a school year or a calendar year?
school year,
Okay.
unless we have COVID.
That doesn't exist.
So this Black Hills Community Foundation, do you think are they a funding source or what are they?
So, we don't know anything on that, they're just wanting in on the meeting that, we just got scheduled, it was supposed to be tomorrow, it is on the 16th when they all can make it. So we have to change that into a calendar, they like a couple school board members and the superintendent on the 16th, 3 o'clock.
Is the meeting at the city or the county?
City.
Well, as long as I don't have jury duty, I can make it that day, which I start tomorrow,
Up to you.
but I can be there.
Have you thought are we thinking this is something that will be funded by someone other than the school, or is the school that put up the money for the building?
Material wise, I'm thinking, we don't know yet on that. I could see the school on the material right away for the year. And then once it's turned over, we get our money back plus whatever we make off of it, split with the city. Trying to do a partnership or stuff with them. And they wouldn't want anything until everything was sold.
And the city's donating the lots, is that kind
We
of?
don't know about donation yet, I can't say anything like that.
Well, no, until that meeting.
And, yeah, and they wouldn't, I can probably say this, they probably wouldn't want anything until the sale was done, putting it up front until a certain percentage, because they want to see the same stuff. But material and stuff like that, we'll visit with them on the 16th. I was hoping for tomorrow, but that can't happen. But if that doesn't happen, it'd have to be the school with the material. And then once we sell, we get that back, plus whatever we make.
Jared, can you give us like a rough estimate of what it would cost material wise to build your 44 by 24 house?
Yes, so I have gotten just material and stuff, you're looking at 68 to 70,000.
Does that include the foundation and all that stuff?
No. So with that added in, I've gotten some quotes. I just Actually got off the phone with a person a little bit ago on some numbers. We're looking at having the house hopefully around with material, concrete foundation, running wire. We'll visit about, plumbing from the curb to the house. We still need that, but we're looking 117 somewhere, hopefully with everything furnished. Setting on the lot.
When you say everything furnished,
Stove, fridge in there, not, sofa or anything like that. That's ballpark. And I try to do high estimates.
And that's not counting the lot though, correct?
No.
That's just the
Our stuff.
infrastructure and their work foundation.
so is there anything you're needing us to approve? Or what are you just telling us about?
Just, if we can just kind of get a committee quick together and then see if we have to approve the material later, if that has to come out of a certain budget or something, or if we get something from somewhere else.
Do you
We
really,
should know on the 16th.
do you think that you're gonna be able to do this year or start one
I would
next?
like to start 2 weeks ago, but.
I understand that. By the time you get all this in play, you know, the city, this foundation, all that kind of stuff,
The city and after the lot, after they do all the paperwork on all that, we're about a year out, is what they are. We just have to figure out the material so we can get started on that and where it's gonna come from, so we get the kids going with those hours, and that way we kind of have a plan moving forward and we're all on the same page.
which even if the first one took you a year and a half, just so because there's gonna be kinks.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, it might not be, you know what I'm saying, if you did get started on it this year. And
I would
then,
like the year and a half.
Yeah.
That way we know what's
right,
going on, who's coming in inspecting things, and what we gotta do with the HUD or whatever, so.
mhm.
But if we can get
Is
it
there any
probably,
plans on how to get it moved out of there once you?
and I put that on there about the cost of moving, I put that
That's
in my
included in
budget stuff, that's adding on to a little more, and then, with the crane to set it and stuff, I have those figures. And,
But that's additional to the.
that's additional.
Okay.
Yep.
I think it would be a great experience for our kids, that's for sure. And great for our community to be able to put some stuff out there.
We just have to, well, we'll find out, but if we have to put the money out for material right away, we're sitting on it. So we probably get paid for 2 years, somewhere, year and a half, 2 years.
Be interested to see if that Black Hills Community Foundation is wanting to help with that part of it. So if it's the group I'm thinking of, they have some funding to do this type of thing.
I don't know if it's the one they think, okay. But I could be wrong. I know the one that you're talking about.
But no, I think it's,
So if we could get a couple board members and that on the 16th at 3, if that would work.
So first, I'd just like to thank Jared for coming in and sharing the information with us. I just want to let all you board members know he has shared some much more in-depth information. I appreciate that. Just we don't want it out there yet because we haven't had enough meetings with other organizations, agencies that are part of this. There's a lot of, I think, potential avenues that we need to tap into as we move hopefully forward with this. So once again, I will put this on as a agenda item for discussion at the December board meeting. So if you guys have questions, specific questions, please fire them to me between now and next week. and we can work on coming up with some answers. And if we can't get the answer, then we'll let you know where we're at as far as how long out we are before being able to share that with you. And then I'll just ask that one more board member besides Corey, join us at that December 16th meeting. And Jared, along the way, if you've got any other information to share, just dump it in my email and I'll get it out to all the board members. Does that sound good?
I can go to that meeting.
That's 3 o'clock.
Anything else?
Anything else for Jared?
Thanks again for all the work,
That was
Jared.
easy.
Appreciate it.
Sure. Good.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We ready to keep moving? Does anybody need to get something to drink or move bathroom or anything?
Good.
No? Okay. I want to come on here.
Okay.
Principals, I sent this to you in an email. If you want a copy, you can look at your copies. It's up, it's in the, I think I sent it earlier. Board members, I sent this to you. I also want to share with everyone that's in front of you, board members, you have the school's vision statement and mission statement. One of the things that Tom talked about was looking at having an internal and external groups outside the school district and obviously people within the school district. And I think all that's fine. That'll definitely give us, a jump start to being able to develop a strategic plan that hopefully is something that is more than a document that collects dust in a file. And that's the one thing that we really, I think, want to focus on as a school district is, as we should have very high expectations in our district to constantly be improving, constantly be getting a little bit better, growing, is that we are looking at this as one of the big visuals that we have that people see when they come into our school district. And if we're going to do that, then we also have to make sure that it is constantly being reviewed, constantly being updated, and improvements are being made. So looking at this document that I have up here, also you have it. One thing I want to just make sure that we understand that if we are going to have a mission to educate every student to his or her potential, then we need to make sure that as we go forward, we are putting in strategies that are going to support that mission statement. Within the document that you have, I think Jenny said that this is probably produced like in, we heard 2005 here tonight from Christy. I think it was at a similar time that this was produced when Dr. Tim Creel was the superintendent. Well, if you go back to 2025, and we're now in 2005, and you go today to 2025, how many of us work in agencies that these things haven't changed? Have they changed? More than likely. So I think it's one of the things that we want to make sure that we're looking at as we go forward in developing our strategic plan is, are we going to stay with a very good district mission statement? And how does that mission statement relate then to the overall vision of the school? Tom talked to you guys about setting up goals, objectives. One of the things that you're going to hear me talk more on lines of is pillars and priorities. Pillars are probably very much the same as when he talks about his goals, objective. When he talks about 4 goals, 4 objectives for the Custer School District and moving forward with your support, one of the things I want us to look at is pillars. These are the things that we find are extremely important to the Custer School District, not only inside, as he mentioned, but also outside. So as we move forward with that, that's also going to, as it states up there, it's going to strengthen your guys' ability as board members to govern, because now you're going to know exactly what those pillars are, and underneath each one of those pillars is priorities. What are our priorities within these different pillars? They might look a little bit different from one school to the next. And after we develop what those priorities, that's when we take it to the next level and develop specific strategies that are going to address what the priority is and what the pillar is going forward. So all of this is about your guys' governance. And the second part of it is, I think this is a huge one today, is our ability to engage the community in this process. How do board members get elected? From the community, right? We have to develop a sense of trust with our community members. If we do that, we work hard on that on the front side, again, they're gonna be there to support us when we need their support down the line. If we're not going to them and asking for input along the way, we can't expect that we're going to be able to have them coming forward and supporting us, you know, when it's in a dire situation. So with that, there's some things I want us to do tonight, just to jumpstart the process on my end in creating an understanding of this. You will notice that Rhonda and Joey have paper in front of them, along with Clay and Dr. Brandon. I figured they probably have great handwriting, right? So now what I'm going to do is ask. I won't say what I was gonna say about that. I would like you guys to evenly break up and go to one of these areas where there's paper. So you're gonna have to pick up your stuff and move. And don't make me move you. You can rearrange the desk.
Oh, is it 4 groups?
Move the on inside and outside. Should be 4 groups. You're welcome to join us. Jump in the
Yeah.
Yeah, big paper.
I'll see her. Nobody's come to your.
What more people we have, so maybe let some people do it.
Sorry, it's not even. There's 4 over there and there's 2 over here.
Oh my gosh, okay.
I know you went to Custer.
I'm trying to. Okay, it's just trying to move from my seat. He said.
And I don't care. Once you guys get,
There you go.
okay, so there's some information that I'm gonna ask a question. And obviously, there's going to be a person that's writing, but then there's also gonna be people that have to report out. You guys remember what cooperative learning, cooperative teaching is all about? No, well, that's part of it. There's a person recording and then there's gonna be a person that's sharing. So decide that. So the first question that I have is, does the mission still reflect our purpose as a school district? So knowing what the mission statement is, it's in front of you. Talk about, does anybody need a copy?
Yeah.
What do you think? Well, that's what I think it is. I say yes.
Pretty short to the point.
I don't think it was.
May you repeat the question, please?
So does the mission still reflect our purpose? And as you're trying to answer that question, you should also answer the question, what does to educate every student to his or her potential mean today? Because if you can't answer that second part of it, then how are we possibly supposed to teach it? How are we supposed to model it? You have 2 minutes.
Jeez.
I should have broken you guys up.
Focus on growth crop prevention.
I love it, man. Actually,
That ever local.
And then it just says grow to the highest level they can.
That's a good point. I like how you phrase that. I'll remember that.
How do you want to say that?
Well, you're,
Should I have people have problem? So is this what you want us to write on our paper? Is this?
Yeah.
So the first
I want to
thing,
see number 1 on each
number
paper.
1 is yes.
And an answer,
And
yeah.
then number 2 is, or this.
Number 2 is just a discussion.
or 1A.
You can put 1A if you'd like.
So this is also part of the same question.
Yep.
Yes. It's a big. Yes.
How many questions, how many questions do they have?
You can always flip it over.
There's more people in there.
I think there's gonna be like 4 or 5 questions.
We want to see.
Right. Well, it's to their potential. They do what it says to it. Yeah.
I know that was fair.
Define for potential.
I still think it is. It's a great.
We need to start recording ourselves.
No.
Yes.
Well, they tried that one.
All child students, no matter their starting volume.
Excellent handwriting, Dr. Tim.
I don't think, yeah.
Nice.
Beautiful. I've heard it's pathologically. OBGYN.
Well, no, I think we said earlier, though. Yeah, I think.
We've been thinking about this, you have an answer right now.
Do you think?
So it says potential is not a ceiling, it's not.
Someone like-
School teachers must define one's
I think
It's
so.
a moving
Right.
target.
Want to do is just more. I'm guessing back to this one. I got the one. I didn't know this was the other one. So college. Well, I wouldn't use it, but if you need some all. I mean, jury duty tomorrow.
Meeting every single where they're at, one.
Shoot. Yeah, you're one, right? What's that?
I mean, we're always coming back to the whole.
In terms of the overall.
That's
not my ability either.
Like this stuff could be outdated.
Is it potential for it? I don't know. Yeah. I'm 48, but I'm 6, I don't know what's gonna happen.
No, you're all good.
You still like that?
Right. No, it's fine. No, yeah, but,
Teach. Everybody.
to provide opportunities. Well, now we're seeing another question on the board, and he's doing our have a stand, that's unfortunate, that's right. She was so much easier to do. And he wouldn't even write it out. I got it upstairs, so she had to. He was obviously.
But that's really not fair.
So you got to figure it out. You waiting on us? I mean, it looks like they got 3 words down over there.
We need a number, we need a number.
Okay, let's go ahead at this time and just,
Yeah.
I write big anyway, I'm just I write
what I'd like you to report out on is if you think that the statement still is a statement that could be used going forward. If you think it needs to be tweaked a little bit, that's something obviously that we'll have discussions on. But also just talk a little bit about the discussion you had with the statement. Who would like to report out?
I can.
Okay.
Our group, we think that, our mission statement is still good to a point. The only thing that we question on our mission statement is the word potential. We wanted to know who defines a child's potential. I mean, is it child, is it the highest potential teacher in the school, or someone new that, or maybe not new one, somebody that's just waiting their years out, you know, that word's kind of, it's hard to, we feel potential is an opinion more than an actual what it is. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not the right word, it's just kind of, we're wondering if that's the correct word. What the correct word is, we weren't really sure. We don't either, so.
No, when I hear the word potential, I think it's very subjective.
Mhm.
And maybe that was the idea behind it when it was created. You know, it could have been like that for that reason. So that as you develop your strategic plans, you can define that within that strategic plan. Okay? This group.
So we said yes. Our discussion was, I pointed out the 3 of us that, when we were kids, we probably all learned completely different, but a teacher realized what our potentials could be and made sure that we got to those and excelled in them and moved us forward. So I understand where the hiccup is with the potential, but at the same time, it kind of helps, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
Comes back to all, right?
Correct.
Each one of you, all. That's good, I like that. Excellent.
Good job, team.
We had the same kind of thought that Pete's group had, that yes, if we do like the statement, it is a very lofty goal to think that you could meet your child at every potential, but we had the same question, how do you do that? You know, what that potential is, how do you define the word potential? Is that happening just in the classroom setting? Are we talking about the whole child? What do we know about our children's families? How are we going beyond just looking at academics to make sure we're meeting that potential? Because there's a lot of these kids that go a lot further than just who they are when they're sitting at a desk.
Good.
I think ours encompasses everything, but even better. I think, because we were talking about the same thing. And as I was listening to you guys talk, I think that most kids don't even realize their full potential or know what their full potential is. So I think providing, and I'm gonna use Toby's tools of ChatGPT, which came up with something great. So ensuring that students receive the support, opportunities, and instruction needed to realize their full potential, and giving them that support that they need to realize. I didn't know, when I was in high school, I probably didn't care, or know what my full potential would be. But then you have the people around you that help you figure out what that is.
Yeah, I like what you just said there about, you kind of put the accountability back on the school with saying that the school has to realize what we need to bring for each student, for all students, right?
What it says? To ensure every student receives the support, opportunities, and instruction needed to realize their full potential.
Any thoughts on any of the groups?
We played with a couple different words, capabilities and abilities. We wanted to have students move past the current abilities, or like that one, but we're just throwing them down. We're really trying to create a well-rounded student or child. So how we could add that word into there, we weren't really sure. It was just hard to do.
Right. So if you start looking at the word, you brought up well-rounded. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that as we go forward with strategic planning and you start developing what those pillars are, and if your pillars have a tendency to relate, maybe not just around academic achievement, and you want to address the character of all of our kids going forward, then you'd go back to that statement, the mission statement, and you'd want to make sure that it matches up with your pillars. Or you want to make sure your pillars match up with your mission statement. So those are some things that we definitely need to be considering as we move forward. So one of the other things I want to ask you, or I guess I'm going to make a couple of statements with this is, how many of you guys have heard of, I think you've heard me talk about this, a portrait of a graduate? You guys know what a portrait of a graduate is? I believe right now there's 16 states, South Dakota is not one of them, but there's 16 states that have adopted a portrait of a graduate, meaning that state says that every kid that graduates from within this state are going to have these characteristics. So one of the things that I would challenge this group is to think in lines of a Custer School District graduates are what? Custer School District graduates are what? Now I want you to write this down. I want you to use 2 to 3 words, and if you're really struggling, it can be like 4 words together. Okay, for example, here's one of them that comes to me. I want Custer School District graduates to be empowered learners. Because if they're empowered learners, here's one for you. This is where you guys have to do up my jumping around issues. Yes. So some terminology on the word right here. It's C. Lifelong learners. That is actually a statement from the 80s. Am I accurate with that, you guys? Definitely in the 80s. Now, empowered learners kind of has taken that over, has risen above it. So again, number 2 question. Custer School graduates are, you can come up with 3 very short statements what they are. I gave you one that I thought was good, empowered learners.
So we can use that one as one of ours.
No, I don't.
I still got classified as something.
No, I
Yeah. I don't know. I am worried to, yeah. What was your?
So we have,
I like that.
we accomplished some. I am not arguing with you at all.
More academic. Yeah, well.
Citizenship.
No. Yeah, she didn't work her.
That's more
academic. She worked 3 days a week, some days a week, just like that. Because she was working. But I think most kids.
Right, yeah.
Does that matter?
Response chain. I didn't hear it say that. I was
He goes around this that well, so. He knows we get home this for 3 years. Yeah, we're getting there.
Punctuation, something. We're good. But.
A lot of people.
Something about responsibility. Positive.
Right.
You do.
Right. So we don't yeah.
Yeah.
Come back around.
Yep.
Are we ready?
Sure.
We only got 2.
Well,
That's fine.
That's fine. We'll get to food.
Really gotta present one.
you can, yeah, you can.
So pick your favorite.
We're not gonna cheat.
That's actually a
No
good
AI for
idea.
us.
What I'd like you to do is to share out what you have, but then pick out one and tell us why you think it's the one. And we will start right here.
I like this one.
I don't know if one's are one, but we have responsible and ethical citizen, career and life ready, critical thinker. know which one we go on.
Pick out one and just say why you think it's important.
Or I think you wanna have good people, so responsible and ethical citizen. And community, I think is important.
Okay,
I like that.
any comments on that? You want to say, read that one again?
Responsible and ethical citizen. You just said that we wanna produce good people that are contributing to, the community.
Don't you guys feel like right now in today's time, that is probably one of the most important things that we do? I mean, we don't, we'd like to say we're all about teaching reading and math and science, but the reality of it is that we're being called out every day in K-12 education for not addressing some of these day to day. Okay, so now, again, remember, if we're talking about developing what these portrait of a graduate would look like, and that leads to a pillar, then how do you list priorities? How do you list strategies, right? You'll see that in this document, how we're going downhill with it. And then, obviously, how do you measure it? This group here.
We're trying to put another word in, we didn't quite get there. So we have written down as educated visionaries and inquisitive thinkers. We wanted to include positivity in there somewhere. And I think if we were to choose our topic, it would be the educated visionaries.
I like the word visionary in there for sure. I like that. Anybody's thoughts on that?
And I guess my thought, it started with educated, because they're coming out here, they should better be educated. So,
And then if you tie education and visionary together, that's going to again go back to your statement of all students. Because each kid is going to be educated in a little bit different manner. Right? I like that. Excellent. This group?
So we stuck with the lifelong learner, growth mindset, and productive community member.
Which one do you really like?
The growth mindset,
Why?
because you have to constantly be growing. You can't be stagnant. You can't not grow and learn and develop. I mean, I'm 11 years into my career, and I'm constantly learning something new every day. And if I wasn't, then I wouldn't be doing my job. I would be growing and getting better.
So I stumbled on this quote today. Don't ask me who it was from, but they said that they've been in education for 28 years and they've been teaching first grade. So I was applying that to myself. We've been in education for 35 years, right?
36.
Okay, but 36 years. And I was trying to figure out, what is it that drives a person for change? And it's a growth mindset. I think it's one of the things that we all have to realize is that we have to surround ourselves and challenge ourselves in education. Not to, these guys have all heard me talk about hitting the reset button. We can't hit the reset button. The reset button does not work for us in education. We have to take each year and realize if it's 36 years, I can't say I've been in education for 36 years because this is Jeff's first year in 7th grade, Rhonda's first year in 8th grade, Joey's first year as 11th grader. Each year is a new year for each one of our kids as they go through our school system. And that's why having that mindset, a growth mindset, is so crucial for this group as we develop these strategies going forward. So appreciate that answer.
We had 3
Our first one is forward critical thinkers. We like that word well-rounded, so we use well-rounded productive citizens and not afraid to take risks. I think that our favorite one is the well-rounded productive citizens.
Well-rounded, productive citizens falls in play again with our mission statement. It's all students. And again, we're well-rounded. Well-rounded changes for all of our students. It's going to look different from a kid that wants to go, straight into the workforce. We have to make sure that that kid has the certification, the credentials, whatever that might look like. Same thing with a kid going to a four-year college or going to a vocational school. All these different statements are actually really good. I think you can take all of them and you can apply it to what we would want our graduates to look like. The one thing I want to mention for our school district, because we want to be the best, we also want to make sure what we put together is very authentic. Authentic meaning we look at our surroundings. As you guys sit here and you look at this, if I was to take the principals, pull them over here, and then take the school board members and pull them over here and do it, do you think we would necessarily come up with the same words to put together? No. That will be very true when we reach out into the public and we look at that external group. And part of gaining support, gaining trust, building the relationship with them is that they have to see their ideas, right? It's not just we hear them, but they also have to see it. One of the things that when I have dealt with consultation over my 20 plus years, I learned that the hard way. We were at the table, we were always having discussions, but when we get back to the educational group, what would we always do with the language? We change it. We change the language so we were comfortable with it. So did we change? We didn't change. But we always expected the people on the external group, on the outside, to change. So keep that in mind as we develop this, that we also want to bring those words, that language, the meaning that they have to our pillars, priorities, and so forth. All right, the next question, and I'm not going to have you write this down, but I want you to think in lines of being a teacher, being a school board member, with what you just wrote down. And knowing that you have roughly 850 students in school. So the question I have for you right now to think about, and you can discuss this, are you ready for me? If I am that student, which of those 851, are you ready for me? Can you as a school board member, can you as an administrator, can you as a teacher, can you in education, can you with confidence answer yes to that? Have the discussion if you think you can, why? If you don't think we can answer that, why? 3 minutes on this one.
We don't write it down, or we
Don't have to write this one down, I just want a good discussion.
By a student would ask a board member for
I think it's 68.
So, but the question is, are you ready to be Could you drive the whole farm, too? Public, right? I would say yes too, but however, I mean, I do worry about little kiddos. You know, the big senior. That's okay, you know. Is he ready? I mean, that's, I'm sure he is. He's already working. I would say yes, but I. He's in Victoria. Yeah. Colorado, but better enough, you know. Godspeed in the traffic. So. But
Everybody sometimes talk to, the portion of those that's usually the one. The teachers should use that.
Right. I would, yeah.
Also has to.
Just kept getting worse.
But how do you?
I would agree with that too. Yeah.
I don't know what that officially is.
Right.
That's how I grew up. We get real big trouble. It was great to kids out. I think my mom was the best. So I virtually. That's great. I got. Yeah, sure. Here. I think that's a good. But a little bit, I tried doing that with them.
Okay, let's have you share quickly what your group thought about, are we prepared? We'll start over here.
So I said yes, because as a school board member, I have to have trust in the administration, my superintendent, that you guys have prepared them, that they are prepared. And if not, then that's where the communication and trust comes in, that you let us know so we can help and fix whatever needs to be done. So all the children aren't ready.
I like that. I think it's down the right pathway to why we are doing what we are doing tonight. Because the only way that I feel like you guys should trust administration, the only way I feel the public should trust the school board and our leadership team, the only way our parents should trust the educators is if we have a plan laid out that's very comprehensive, right? It needs to be comprehensive. And that's the one thing as we go forward, that's why we're doing this, is to create understanding where people, again, they can see it, right? Hearing it, he talked about, is one thing, but they can see it. They can see it in the classrooms, they can see it in their teachers, they can see it from the discussions that we have in our school board meetings, as well as hear it. So I like that. Good.
3 for 3.
Over here.
I don't know if we came to for sure. I was kind of on the no side of it. Because when I read that statement, the one that sticks out to me, what is the potential? That's 0 to 100. Some kids' potential's 1, somebody's 100. So all over the board, I don't know if I'm comfortable with what that's gonna be.
Thoughts on that?
That's just my opinion.
Well, I think we all came to that same kind of conclusion, not whether it was a yes or no, but all these kids are just coming from such different places. They're so young, they're carrying so much of their home life and their past with them. So as a 851 people walk up to you, how do you know? How do you know if you're really ready for what they've got? And do you have the right tools to work with them and to meet them where they are? And do you have the time to even get there because you're so busy worried about the academics?
I think that what Larry talked about though with the word potential, I think it does create some great discussion because it is so wide. It's the depth of it. Where does it end? And I think that that's one of the things, again, we have to make sure as we develop the plan is that we define, if we're using words like potential, we try to define it. You can't define it to every kid, but you have to have pathways where we know that our students are going down this pathway and they're going to be prepared again with the values and beliefs that we have as a district, right? If we have those values and those beliefs and we're practicing them, and again, you can see it within our comprehensive plan, then I think it'd be easier for you to say yes, you know, as a teacher, as a board member, as an administrator, that we are preparing them. But without that comprehensive plan and knowing like where it's taught at, I understand why you'd say no.
Well, and should we know what the goals of each student is versus the goals of the parents versus the goals of the teachers and the administration to come up with potential, what that potential looks like?
And that is the one great thing though, that things have changed in education is that we're not a school-wide title program. If we were, you would be seeing for the whole district like what Frosty and Joey and Rhonda do in their program specifically, because it has to have all that measured out. You know, that our kids are going to grow, each kid a certain level. But again, a comprehensive plan also is going to have the other resources listed when they're not making that growth. What is the next step for us going forward? Right now, back to what Sarah said, is that she's trusting that's just happened, right? Because you trust the individuals that are leading. But we also need to make sure that that is documented along the way. And it's also being reviewed constantly along the way. This group here. That'd be you guys.
Wasn't sure why we were waiting for that. I mean, I think we never came up with a definitive yes or no, but I think we would all say yes, because we're gonna do our best there. We could also think it makes you think hard about where your weaknesses are, where you can improve. Kind of my thought on it.
That's why we're doing this, all right?
Yeah.
I mean, we want to identify, so there's going to be something we talk about here. We have to identify our strengths. We also have to, obviously look at our weaknesses, and we have to look at, what are our barriers? What's pulling us down? What are the threats to the district? Because if we identify the threats, then we should be able to also identify the resources we need to bring in to help us to, these students to achieve where they want and where they want to go in the future. How about here?
We didn't really talk about a yes or a no either. We talked more about the plan, We can't have the same cookie cutter plan as we did. You can't just come into the school year thinking we'll do what we did last year, because it's not the same. It's never gonna be the same. I mean, I think this is a never ending target because every year is gonna be different for these guys, for the teachers, for the parents, for every year is gonna be different. So I think the plan is the important part, as long as they're ready to react, change the plan, whatever that may look like, you know, I think we just gotta be, you know, flexible.
We talked about mindset. It's 100% in the mindset, and whether that's us creating this plan to help people work a mindset to be flexible, as Miranda says, but you can be ready for whatever comes in front of you if you open your own to accept that challenge, rather than this isn't how it happened last year, why am I doing it this year?
You could have the rigid parts of your plan, but, you know, there's gotta be parts of it that are willing to move, you know, in your plan, because there's not one they're gonna be the same as the next.
Well, I think everything that has been said as far as looking at statements that could be pillars, statements that could be part of values, beliefs, or even priorities, I think you have to look at the words and understand the words are going to mean something a little bit different for every parent, for every student that we have in our district. I think that's where us showing the ability to be flexible, adapt, right? I think that shows again the strength of the school, and then it comes back to us knowing that we're going to have those strategies to be able to say, yes, we are prepared, we have that down. But I agree 100% that you can't think that a plan is going to get you there. It comes down to practices and processes and reviewing it over and over again. Okay, this is a question now that I need you to answer. I'm being very, watching the clock here. I know we're getting tired. As we move forward, it's going to be very important for us to develop this comprehensive needs assessment. But the one thing that we need to look at, based on what you've told me up to this point, is a comprehensive needs assessment quite often is quantitative data. A lot of things that you guys have talked to me about so far today is qualitative. So in your groups right now, I want you to come up with, and you might have to flip over the sheet, because some of you guys write really large. But I want you to come up with, you know, what and share. And I don't want a one-time wonder piece of data. I want something that you think is very important, not only for us as a district, but also for our communities in Custer County. And then also be thinking in lines of where our kids are going. Is there a data point out there that we need to be collecting that's going to help our kids, whether they go into the workforce, go to vocational school, or go into higher education? Questions? Okay, let's roll. 3 minutes, should be plenty.
Wow.
So the question again is, what data do we collect and share?
Yeah, hopefully with the groups you have.
And I also think somehow.
Data, I can think it's just having data on test scores. That's the only measurable thing we have in the district to see if they're learning.
I would like to see like.
It should.
Or does it look like how well you do?
Right, yeah.
So is there a data point to demonstrate something started here, like this is where things are.
Now what test scores and the data is.
It's just we don't have.
I would say academic.
Scores just dropped.
It's like performance, obviously, I know.
So what's another easy thing that we can measure our teacher doing to progress these kids? How do you measure? Like, I work in a business, I can measure like what they can do.
And those are practical.
After the fact.
Like if you could just see people, explaining on TV about what could be done to get sick office, or what's what their children learn, how, yeah.
But isn't the whole basis of school, the pass tests?
What the truth, yeah.
I think it is, but that's my opinion. To me, if I could pass a test, I learned something.
Where, yeah, I like that.
Are you ready to share?
No, that's not even close to
Not
3
the
minutes.
points.
I've asked that question for 7 years before. I didn't measure. Again, you hope that people don't have to do it. That was one of the, how do you do work, the best ones. Yeah.
They would just.
They increase the learning.
Right.
Right.
That, right.
Some judges know people
Everyone knows they do.
Wow, I don't know. I don't know what people would want to know. You know, the graduation percentage. Is that data that we need? I don't know.
Because of the number of cousins. That's what's being decided to get from college. I believe it is. But they use it to educate these kids. My opinion. It's dedicated themselves. You know, learn all this. They want to.
They're wanting older
Right, right, no, I do. Well, I agree. It's a little. Some that are there now and some that were. So. Right, I would agree.
Yeah, and that's not mine.
There used to be a joke that occurred.
Right.
Didn't call the doctor, the person that's with that.
I think so, yeah. I would say here too. Oh, the five, after. I'm not sure how you do that.
Maybe there's other things we need to look at.
How that's what we do.
But I always like to see the beginning and, you know, or even how much of, you know.
They're not. They're not.
Exceeded.
That's all I did was
Yes, we get a new question.
This group here is ready to move forward. Right, so with that, we'll go ahead and let you guys, answer what you come up with.
I don't.
You guys, nothing?
I mean, Larry, like.
Oh, they weren't ready to move forward?
No,
That's
that's right,
one
we
new
want the
question.
next question.
They passed.
We're
Okay.
passing. Yeah.
I mean, we had a lot of discussions, but like I think a measurable thing is test scores, or maybe nobody else does.
Not that we don't agree,
Oh,
but it's not the only data point
Right.
that defines potential.
Some kids know how to take tests and others don't. Some kids, have anxiety about tests. Some kids, they memorize. So they don't know it, they just memorize it for the test.
Right.
So there's all different scenarios.
So one of the things I'll share with you about doing a comprehensive needs assessment, I think Frosty went to the workshop, that if you do one that's going to be, the state of South Dakota Department of Education is going to approve, you have to have your test scores on there. So with your ELA and your math, those will be definites that you're going to have, and I'm gonna break it down even further for you. Not only do you have to have it, the math and the ELA, broken down by how you're doing as a school district, but you're also going to have it broken down by your subgroups. So like for this school district right now, your subgroups would be students that are on IEPs, your subgroup would be number of students that are economically disadvantaged, would be the ones that we'd have to have that data within our comprehensive needs assessment. And not only do you have to have it, then you're also going to have to address it. What are going to be the strategies to continue to move these students forward? All right? With that being said, I do think that it's important, and that's why, again, going back to something I think these guys said about citizenship and teaching it, I honestly think that there is a shift. Principals help me out with the Smarter Balance assessment. There are only 14 states now doing Smarter Balance assessment. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And one of the things that we have to do a better job of also is sharing out that when it comes to South Dakota and how our kids are doing out of the 12 to 14 states that are doing it, our kids are at the highest level. Even though we have people in the state of South Dakota says, well, why are you only at 40-some%? Why are you only at 50-some%? Who sets the benchmarks that have to be achieved? South Dakota people do not settle for average. So our benchmarks are typically higher than what other states even set their benchmarks at. So that movement of the benchmarks is what's going to, dictate our proficiency levels, right? So don't always think that that's a true measurement of our kids' success, all right? But I still will tell you that you need to have it on there, all right? How about this group?
So we said test scores, including school year growth is what we would like to see. And then the other one we put is where high school graduates are in 5 years and 10 years.
Love the 5 years, 10 years. Really love that. Because that's something that school districts, again, need to do a better job of. Yes, tracking them, but then also celebrating them. You want to attract people to your schools, share what all these kids are doing when they leave here. And you get those people back in here to tell their stories about what they learned graduating from Custer High School, attending Hermosa School, attending Custer Elementary. Right? That's truly what it's about. This group.
We also kind of had that same idea, we like to hear data on the seniors, on where they went, how they did, if they felt they were prepared, but we'd also, which they'll ask us how this is done, but we'd also like to hear from the colleges, university, tech schools, that kind of stuff, to see if they were, kids that they were getting out of Custer was missing anything. I mean, were they, not proficient? Whether that be in education or, life skills, whatever that is. How you collect that data, I don't know.
Yeah,
You didn't do it.
We had to figure out how.
Yeah.
You just said what we wanted, that's your job, is how.
How is kind of, but to share something with you, we just signed up on this, I signed up on this a couple months ago, and I think Clay was the one that got it, the ACT, it's Encourage, right? ACT and Encourage. That's the name of what we signed up for it. And it actually will look at all of our kids, and now it'll be a great data point for us because all juniors now have to take the ACT. And so not only will we have to collect the ACT score, but it also tells us when these kids go to college, how many of them also have to take remedial English, remedial math, whatever it might be. And then that way we have that to look at and say, hey, we've got to get better, right? These kids are going to college and they're not prepared. I will tell you this, though, from looking at past reports from Custer kids are prepared when it comes to four-year colleges, right? The one thing that we have to figure out, the state needs to figure out, do a better job of moving forward, and we have to lobby for this, is making sure that there's a component in there where our kids can show, maybe you guys are going to talk about this, but that our kids are receiving certification in school, whether it be any of the career and technical education clusters that show our kids are prepared for the workforce or are prepared for vocational schools. They have a certification already from our school. They are only going to go to this vocational school for 9 months versus 2 years. That tells us we've got these kids prepared. So that would also be a good data point for us. Go ahead.
We had a few of them. Graduation rate was one of them. Student safety, I think that's important to share with everyone. Academic, so state or test scores, but we focus more on the growth aspects of the academic growth. Academic offerings and certifications like you were just mentioning, whether it be AP classes for those kids that want to go to a four-year college or kids that want to go to a low-tech school, what certifications can they get in high school, and then staff retention. Important to share.
I mean, there's some really good ones there. Staff retention is an excellent one for collecting data on, because that's showing that when teachers come here, obviously they're staying here. What is it that they like about our school system? What we're working on tonight. If a new teacher comes in and they have a comprehensive plan that they can read through, they get the training that's going to be part of this. Could be the science of reading. We know that that's going to be part of the PD for our teachers in the future. They're going to be confident. They're not going into a school district that has no curriculum, that has no plans. So I think that's excellent. Another one on there that I want you to think about would be school safety security. So what type of data would you collect on something like that? What do people want to know that how we're prepared? How can we demonstrate that? We can't share necessarily student behaviors. We're not going to put on there arsonist, right? That's what it is. It's in the campus. These are things, I mean, that's a long laundry list of those behaviors. We're not going to share that, but we want to share what we are doing to prepare for school safety and security. As a school board, you guys have spent a lot of money in making sure that this building, all of our buildings are safe and secure. We need to share that. That needs to be part of this. We're teaching, our teachers are receiving training. Our administrators received training this summer. What was the training? CPI training, right? Those are the things that we have to make sure that are embedded into this. I want to add one more, and this is my push. I heard Frosty say that they didn't write it down, I don't think. But I think it's huge. As the Black Hills region is growing, and it is growing, we want to make sure that we are looking at 0 to 5. We as a school district have to make sure that we are part of that, where people, when they come here to work, professional people come here to work, they know that there's going to be options for their kids at whichever age level. And we also have to find a way to celebrate what we are doing with these kids and how they are making huge leaps by being in 3-year-old, 4-year-old preschool, junior kindergarten, right? Get that extra year, and then kindergarten. If we're just doing it and not celebrating it and not pumping it out there, then we're not showcasing ourselves. We need to showcase ourselves. All right, so I think that's another important piece of data as we move forward. Yes?
Just let us finish. We had
Oh, I'm sorry.
another one that was important.
My wait time wasn't very good.
No, it wasn't, but, employment needs of the community and how we can help train the kids to get jobs in the community instead of bringing in people from El Salvador, and celebrate having all this workforce and using that, gathering data from the community of what is needed and what we can do to get students excited to do those jobs.
Yeah, just as Dr. Graves and Jamie and I were visiting last week, there's a reason why the Custer School District received a workforce grant. What, is there a shortage of laborers here? There is. So that's an excellent piece of data that we need to be collecting year to year and then sharing with our students. We want our students going into areas, yes, that they're interested in, but also, just like colleges do this, colleges will, we have a 96% what? Placement after graduation. That's something else that we can do here by identifying who those employees are and helping our kids through apprenticeships, prior to apprenticeship, internships, prior to internships, observations. That strengthens all of our career and technical education programs all the way through.
What strengthens the kid, makes them a well-rounded kid.
Absolutely.
You don't know what you want to do until you do something.
And what better way to make a mistake is in having natural support, natural support. People know you.
So with that said, another word that we may want to give consideration to as we start looking at pillars, priorities, is the word relevant. Does relevant fit in to what we want our students to have for learning experiences in our district? How many of you in here, and I'm sure there were some of you, but how many of you in here enjoyed studying in a math classroom? Raise your, really? You ask that question, typically it's usually a third, right? But if you ask kids, for example, if they were to take geometry in construction, you'd have all kinds of hands popping up, right? So we have to find ways to make sure that it's relevant for all of our kids. Okay, I think we can finish this up where you guys are at, and then we'll get back to where our original seats were at. Please use line basics when you're getting there, so we can finish up this board meeting. But one of the things that I want to mention is that we are on step 6, and we're just touching the surface. The same process that we went through here tonight needs to happen with parent advisory meetings. We had a PTA meeting tonight that I would love to get on the agenda, their agenda, and do this with them. We need to get our industry partners in here, have the same exact conversation with 1 through 6 with them, right? Any groups that we can get to come in and have face-to-face conversations with and gather this information will help us to get this right as we go through this process of developing this. Number 8 on here talks about strategic plan and the theory of action. If you look at this, this is a review for you to understand the mindset of what Tom's going to ask us to do, what I'm going to ask us to do as we move this thing forward. It's again, high-level pillars. What are going to be the priorities underneath those pillars? And then after you develop those priorities, what are the strategies to make sure that we're going to get there? And then what are going to be the measures of success? What are going to be the targets that are going to be associated with us knowing that our students are getting to where they need to be successful in life? Not just in school, but also in life. If you look at where it says examples, I gave you kind of just a very brief look at one. For example, Pillar 1 says student achievement and learning innovation. What does this look like today? Priority would be like high quality instruction to improve student outcomes. So for the principals, it would be, how do we determine high quality instruction? One of the things that we're doing again right now with the science of reading, we're going to make sure that we have a timeline that all of our teachers are going to have the training, administration, the training to understand how the science of reading works and how to implement those strategies. Strategies provide targeted professional learning opportunities and coaching for newly hired teachers, and I could take that and run with it in several different directions. But do we kind of understand what this would look like? Yes? Perfect. All right. Underneath that, we have a pile of different examples of different possibilities of pillars that I just pulled up and started typing up, and thought that this might intrigue you, inspire you a little bit to come up with some of your own as we move forward with this. The theory of action is when we talk about when we statements, engage and learn from the community, when we support educators, leaders to deliver data informed, when we guarantee that our actions and resources align to drive improvement, then what should happen is you should be able to get right back to your vision statement, right? So everything that we build upon with the language and then the practices and processes should always come back to whatever that vision statement is in the end. Questions with that? No questions.
Negative.
Very good group. 9 through 14 will all be brought forward during board meetings going forward. So just as I asked tonight for the speakers, so if they understand where we're going with this as speakers, give you a presentation, and I hope what'll happen is that you guys will hit me with some questions between now and Monday, and we'll bring that information back to the board meeting Monday. I will take this information and try to summarize it and share it out at the board meeting. And then I will look at one of the 9 through 13s and introduce it again. And we'll designate, with you guys' blessings, we'll designate about 10 minutes or so to talk it through, just like we're doing now, but to talk this through as a group. That way we don't have to schedule meeting after meeting after meeting. We can try to do it on our Monday nights that we meet You'll have it a month. And then when we get people here, if you guys are okay with it, I'd ask them to get in some of the small groups. Are we all right with that? For the most part?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Any questions?
No questions.
Okay, so I have to follow my lesson. And we have to go to closing reflections. You're in the hot seat. This group is right now. Real quick, what was one insight gained? Yeah, hot seat.
I depend on ChatGPT way too much.
Okay,
I think as a group, collective group, everybody's pretty much got the same goal. You know, we all want to do the best. And everybody may have a little different idea how to get there, but I think collectively, we can get there.
I would agree with that. I thought there was a lot of common answers, which is good. This group here, what's one priority that you feel as a group that rises above the rest, value-wise, that you heard tonight? Was there one thing that you thought was echoed, as they said? You guys actually answered it, I think. One of the things I heard loud and clear was one of your guys' answers, and I think all the groups shared a little bit with it.
What do you think? Growth mindset.
Yeah. I mean, it was said different,
Mhm.
but I think we all would agree is that that's one of the things we want our district to be known for, is always moving forward. What's one commitment moving forward for this group?
I think that we'll still continue to look for ways to improve in our buildings and not let it become stagnant. I think that's what this is all about.
Excellent. How about this group with that? Same question.
Growth mindset.
Okay, a commitment to that. All right. That sounds good. We are ready to move on to the next session. I will go ahead and collect your homework. You all know names?
Really bored.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You?
Oh, well.
It goes right.
Do it more.
I just need to ask anybody who attended some of these if they want to get paid anything. I was gonna send it.
I think we can say it.
No, I.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll move on to 2.2. The budget discussion.
There is.
We have put some money in for staff bonuses. We need to figure out how, when, and we're going to utilize that. Last 3 years? 3 years, we've been doing about $100 bonus for each employee. Most of the staff would get 4 gift cards or a mixture of gift cards for businesses in Hermosa.
Just last year, the year before that, it was from a single business.
Okay. Yeah, it was the grocery store, wasn't it? And then Custer would just get Custer cash because it can get used anywhere in Custer. So trying to promote using money in the community. So we need to figure out if we're going to do that again this year. And if we're gonna do it for all staff like we have. Or they gave us some options of the ones that aren't actual. Contract, that's a good word.
I would, in my opinion, be all staff. They're all part of the school.
So, yeah, so there was two different, so is that one or the other?
No, those are examples of what you can talk about, and what you could choose, ways things have been done in the past.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's not the end all be all of.
Okay,
of what
gotcha,
this
okay.
is.
Yeah, just give
That's a lot.
So first of all, we just need to decide if we're going to do it at Christmas time like we have in the past. And if yes.
I make a motion, we do it for Christmas, for
I'll
all
second that.
employees.
Okay. All including contract?
How many is their contract? I mean,
Contract.
We need to define.
No, we're all right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you look at the top one, that's all employees. And the second one is without contract.
oh, that's.
It's like $1,000 difference. essentially.
Okay, so you have a motion on there and a second on,
Oh,
Well, the top one.
ladies, is that the 165 then?
If we include all contracted employees, it could,
so there's 170 and 160.
170.
170 for all.
Correct. And that is using the list that Jenny provided for us based off of the last personnel record. So we would like a little flexibility in case there's somebody that isn't on there that we neglected. So we would like a little flexibility just to make sure we don't.
All is all, I would say.
Yeah, I guess when you first started, I was thinking certified, not contract. I was thinking all staff in the district, but contracted people are different.
And we wanted to find that for sure. We want to know what you guys would, how you'd like to do that. So we have speech contractors that come in.
In the past, I
oversee
think
people
we've done all.
But in my
I
opinion,
don't
I guess
remember.
with my emotion, I mean, I think they're just as important. And especially the substitute counselor. I mean, you feel that's Mr. Black, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just my opinion, I guess, so. We're talking bonuses, or enjoy your cookie.
So the motion that's on the table is the 170 employees. Corey made it. Larry had seconded before we made that this. So you want to keep your second on that?
No. I'll rescind my second.
we don't have 170 employees. That includes contracted services.
Agreed.
The 160, the second line is,
Right, I just want to make sure when you say all employees,
that's where I was confused.
it is not including. All employees does not include service contracts, so it would be all employees plus service contracts.
Okay.
The OT, yes, Craig Black would be an exception.
Resource officer.
So the motion is employees plus service contracts. I need a second for that motion.
I'll second for the discussion.
So any discussion on the motion on the table?
Sarah, how much did we have budgeted for?
It's on there at the bottom. But it was
The 19.6?
on the bottom number.
18.4.
40,000.
Where do you see that?
Oh, we might not be on that. That's why I'm like,
see it.
there's nothing there. Sometimes you have to refresh if you add something, so you might not be able to see
So
that.
anyways, it's 40 is what
$40,000.
is in the budget as Sarah looked up earlier.
40 per
thousand.
40,000.
Which is double what we've done.
Correct.
Is there a reason why we doubled it?
There's two other items that were part of that 40,000. It's a supplies budget. It's not gonna make up the difference of the 20,000, but it's still partially in there.
What do you mean by supplies? School supplies?
No, what was
Part
it?
of the board is school supplies, we talked about, you guys approved buying headphones and Clorox wipes and things like that for classrooms, that's part of board supplies. When we have food before a board meeting, that's part of board supplies, there's a lot of things that fall into that category.
So this whole bonus money is in board supplies?
Correct, because you are providing the bonus to the staff. the
It
school.
has been, that's where it came out in the last few years. Any other discussion?
But we haven't used $20,000 of that.
No.
No.
$20,000 is about what the bonuses cost.
Right, I'm just saying. we haven't
So out of
used-
the 40, what have we used?
Yeah, we haven't used, we're still gonna be able to cover this number and not,
Yes, the whole budget is actually $60,000 for board supplies, and we've only used just over 6,000 so far this year, so there's plenty of money to
Savings.
cover
Savings.
And is the,
Yeah.
is the amount of the bonus included in the motion? At the moment, it is not.
No.
Contractor. Technically it was, but he didn't say the words, he said the top one, which includes $100, 170.
Yes, we utilize them.
And again, we would like to just make sure we've got a cushion there, so we should just put like a not to exceed 22,000.
That's that $100 plus the
Just-
Medicare.
Just a question though, so I know Black Hills Corp, if we get anything over $75, we have to claim taxes on that.
We have to do.
So same thing here, right?
Yeah, that's, the cost for one employee is $115.
So the.
we're gonna give them $100, but we're gonna
pay.
pay
Right.
$150.
We,
Right.
we paid our portion and their portion, so the employees
Gotcha.
don't cover any of it.
That's nice.
We try to be. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay. Think it still passes. Travis isn't here, I'm just making sure.
He voted with me.
He brought
By just seeing
I'm
us.
sure he did.
Actually, he did text me and say that, but. So I don't know what. But Jimmy's not here to actually vote, so. But I think it still passes, and if it did say that. So, we should be good. Those will be handed out before break.
Yes,
In the
and
past.
can we please clarify where you would like us to purchase them from? We talked about Custer Cash, we talked about for businesses, if we could clarify that so we know what to do, that would help us.
Does, and also, they were talking about creating like a cash, then we haven't got that figured out.
Nope.
Okay.
So what do you guys have over there? Grocery store, Lynn's?
Lynn's, Lazy R, Coffee Shop,
Grocery store.
that's the four.
That's what we did last year, right?
Is it 25D?
That's something. Okay with you?
Yeah.
They can trade, they can, it's like
Did you
trading cards.
have anybody say they wish they would have got it from somewhere else?
Everyone has their own, had a different opinion. Some liked it, some liked just getting it for the grocery store, just depending on the person.
I just meant if there was a different business that they brought.
Oh, no one else asked for, they didn't ask for any other business.
Okay.
There, I don't know if there is.
Gas station was the only thing I could.
Flying J, but.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they get plenty.
No, Flying J.
It's up on there now.
BJ's good at it. So it sounds like coffee shop, grocery store, Pop's Grocery, Rockin' R, and.
Do we need a motion to clarify that?
No.
I need to abstain from that.
I would like to recommend that you make a motion on that for clarification for
Okay.
future.
So motion,
I'll make a motion, Heath, to buy it from all 4 businesses in Hermosa equally. I'll make a motion to buy $25 from Pops, Lints, Rockin' R, and the coffee shop, for each one of them.
for Hermosa and then for Custer.
Hermosa Cash. Custer.
And if you didn't hear me, I'm abstaining from voting on this.
Yep, and Larry is abstaining.
It's Sarah, did you push your second thought? Yeah.
Just couldn't hear.
Just happens to.
Thanks, Sarah.
Sorry.
Any discussion on that?
I just can't vote no.
You're right. All in favor, say aye.
Bye.
All opposed, same sign. That passes. Okay. Anything else, Tim?
No. Excellent.
Okay,
One thing,
Terry wants,
if you attended committees outside of board meetings that you want to get paid for, please send me an email with the date and the committee that you attended.
What do you committee?
What?
so
Committees. You get
any of
paid
your guys'
$50 for attending committee meetings outside of board meetings. So the construction meeting, the, if you were the
meetings.
Policy committee.
policy committee, any of the committees
They were on a different day than the board.
that are on a different day than a board meeting.
Well, they're gonna be different day than board meeting.
Yes.
Ours were always the same day as the board meeting.
So I'm gonna send an email reminder as well, but I wanted to verbalize it so you're not confused when you receive the email. That if you want to get paid the $50 for attending a committee that was not on a board day, then I need to receive an email so that I have that information, because there's no other way that I would have the information.
Was there any?
Oh, yeah.
We had a few.
Well, when I actually signed up to be school board, I didn't think we got paid, to be honest.
I didn't
When I
know
signed
it.
up,
It was changed last year, so I had no
And you
idea.
know, it's optional. You can always opt out.
You don't have to submit to get paid. Take $100 for each. Is that it?
I could spend that money.
Okay. So I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Corey,
I'll second it.
Keith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you.
See you next Monday.
Next
Thank
Monday.
Not
you.
same time, same place.
Oh, yeah, it's in Hermosa. Isn't it? Yes.
I wanted to make a motion to have the rest of the board here until July.
A little fresh. Water,
About the same as I don't know, how many
What was his motion?